In this section, we're talking about order of operations, and where this is important is if you come into a series of numbers, you're not sure which operation you're supposed to do first. It can end up drastically changing your answer depending on what you do first, so this just tells you which order to do them in. Okay, so the way that we've always learned in the U.S. To keep these in order is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so that's like our way of remembering this is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, let me erase this out of here. And we'll put in what those letters stand for. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the P, so that's the parentheses. So anything that you have inside of parentheses, you want to do that first. Next you do exponents. Now these next two, I actually, you know what, I'm going to erase this out and rewrite it. I'm going to do this with the D and the S. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these next to each other. Okay, so the reason that I'm doing that is because multiply and divide actually have the same priority. So that's the one thing that's a little bit confusing with this. So multiply and divide, which are the next two here. Okay, so we'll just do multiplication and divide. And then down here we have add and subtract, which also has the same priority. So you're going to do the parentheses first, the exponent second, then multiply, divide, and add, subtract. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and apply what we just learned, and let me go ahead and write this up here, or PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so we're going to do the 27 divided by 3 squared times 2 minus 3. So again, we don't have any parentheses here. We do have an exponent, our second one here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the exponent. So that's going to give us 27 divided by, and then 3 squared, that's going to be 9 times 2 minus 3. So next we do multiply and divide, and you're just going to do these left to right. The first one we have is this 27 divided by 9. Okay, so we're going to do that. So 3 times 2 minus 3. Okay, so next we have this multiplication here. So 3 times 2 is 6 minus 3, and that's going to give us 3. Okay, so as I said, the first thing we need to do is parentheses. So if you look up here, we have 7 times 13 minus 8, which is inside the parentheses, so we need to do that 13 minus 8 first. So 13 minus 8 obviously is 5, so 7 times 5, that just gives us 35. Okay, so on to the second example. So we have 24 minus 3 squared plus 1. So we're going to go inside that parentheses, and you can see that we have an exponent, and then we have adding, so we need to do that exponent first. So 24 minus 9 plus 1 inside the parentheses. Do our 9 plus 1, that gives us 10. 24 minus 10, that gives us our 14. Okay, then for the third example here, you can see we have a couple sets of parentheses going on here. So we have the first outer brackets, then we have the smaller ones. We're going to do that smaller one first. So our 8 plus 13, that's going to give us 21. So now this is starting to look a little cleaner here. So we have 2 times 30 minus 21. Again, we need to do that parentheses before the multiplication. So 30 minus 21 is 9, and 2 times 9, that gives us 18. Okay, so another type of parentheses in a way, at least it goes in the same priority, is a fraction bar. So you can see up here in this example, there's 8 plus 4 over 5 minus 2. It's just basically like 8 plus 4 divided by 5 minus 2. So you work out your parentheses first. Your 8 plus 4 is 12. Your 5 minus 2 is 3. And then 12 divided by 3, that is 4. So we can go down here to example 3. So we have 9x over 3x plus 2. We're using x equals 4. So we're going to have 9 times 4 over 3 times 4 plus 2. So 9 times 4 is 36. 3 times 6 is 18. And 36 divided by 18 is 2. Okay, so we have a standardized test practice question here. So it says a group of 12 students volunteers to collect litter for one day. A sponsor provides 3 juice drinks and 2 sandwiches for each student and pays $30 for trash bags. The sponsor's cost in dollars is given by the expression 12 times 3J plus 2S plus 30, where J is the cost of a juice drink and S is the cost of a sandwich. A juice drink costs $1.25, a sandwich costs $2. What is the sponsor's cost? Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward. We're just substituting in our information. So our $1.25, that goes in for our J. Our $2, that goes in for the S. And then we can go solve away. So as you've learned, the parentheses is what we need to do first. Inside the parentheses, we need to do our multiplication first. And before we go back in and do our addition. So our 3 times $1.25, that becomes $3.75, and our 2 times 2, that becomes 4. Okay, so we still need to do our parentheses first, so our 375 plus 4, that's our 775, and then we can multiply our 12 times 75, because multiplication, comes before addition. Okay, so they're saving us the steps here. So 12 times 775, that's 93, plus our 30 gives us $123. So we can go back in, we can see that 123, that was option B, and you can see they've shown you the right answer here.